Premier Christy Clark stopped by the Free Press office on Friday to talk about various things from the election to the Northern Gateway Pipeline. This week in the Free Press Daily, we will be presenting some of those video clips from that interview. The election's coming up and the Liberals are trailing in the polls, depending on which polls you are. So how do you deal with being behind in the polls going into an election?
You put together the best possible team of candidates you can. You put together a vision for the province that people can believe in, and then you go and you fight an election. That's how you do it. And it's really, the thing about the polls is, first, people haven't made up their minds. People will make up their mind when they walk into the polling booth and ask themselves, who's going to secure my economic future? But the other thing is, too, is, all of us in government are getting compared to perfection right now. Well, the day the writ is dropped, we start getting compared to Adrian Dix and the NDP. And that's the odds. I like my odds on that a whole lot better. And when we get into the election campaign and we actually start talking about our vision for the province and where we want to take it, I think people are going to look at the plans that we have to pay off our debt for our kids, as one example. I think people are going to say that's the kind of province I want. And that's how you win an election.
So when will those more specific plans come out? I guess there's been talk about the NDP not releasing their platform, but now they're saying they're going to release it in a couple of weeks or whenever.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of the forestry part of the platform, they did say the forestry part of the platform would come out after the election. Yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
So when is the Liberal you're going to do a specific platform type thing?
We are.
So when is that coming out?
Well, it'll come out soon. It'll come out once we're into the campaign. We don't want to leave it to too late. I think people need to know where the leaders stand. I think that it's, the thing is we live in a democracy, and democracy can't work unless you have a competition of ideas. And you can't have a competition of ideas if people don't tell you what their ideas are. So here we've had a situation in the last 2 years where, Pat Bell and I introduced a jobs plan that was very specific about what we wanted to do to grow our economy 18 months ago. And we saw no alternative plan from the NDP. Then we introduced our throne speech with a plan to create the prosperity fund and pay off our provincial debt. We saw no alternative plan from the NDP. We introduced our budget, which is balanced and which has 3 years of surpluses going forward and describes in detail how we're going to do that. We saw no alternative plan from the NDP, despite the fact that they promised to do it. So, for me, the platform is the jobs plan, the throne speech and the prosperity fund, the budget, the balanced budget, and then there is the platform. So, people already really know what we stand for. Mm-hmm. We're still going to have a platform, but people know what we stand for. The thing about the New Democrats is nobody knows what they stand for. Nothing. Except for maybe some higher taxes here and there. So, really, it's when they finally unveil that, it'll be an important moment for all of us to get a sense of where they'd like to take the province.